Let's talk about the cultural aspect of settling in. I remember the first time I went to a supermarket in Berlin. I spoke to my son in the aisle in English, and some old lady got angry at me and told me in German, "You're in Germany, speak German." Later, at the checkout counter, everyone stared at me while I was packing my groceries. I felt like they were all mad at me. Turns out that the old lady was just rude and did not represent the general population at all. But the stares at the checkout counter were, in fact, a social norm. In Germany, you are expected to pack quickly and efficiently, or take your groceries and move to a designated packing area in order not to hold a line. This seemingly small issue represents a set of cultural norms that we need to learn. Usually, the best way is to just live our lives and ask for help whenever we run into something we don't understand. You can consult other expat spouses in your community or local friends you'll make. The general behavioral schemas we take for granted in our home country, like ordering at a restaurant, using public transportation, or even whether it's okay to pet someone's dog, these are all conventions we need to be aware of. When we feel like we know how to handle ourselves in day-to-day situations, that's a huge step towards settling in culturally. Another goal is to have a handle on the local language. You don't have to be fluent, of course, but not knowing the local language at all makes you dependent on others, and personally, I don't like feeling that way. I found that learning the language well enough to get directions in the street or to order at a restaurant is sufficient for me. Being able to read is very helpful when checking out ingredients in the supermarket, when reading local signs, and generally to make us feel like we understand what's going on around us. In addition to physical language courses that can help us socially, there are also free apps that can help. Personally, I enjoy Duolingo very much and recommend you check it out, but there are many other options as well. In some places, like international cities or specific neighborhoods, the people may be used to outsiders. On the other hand, being in an international city may set us up as targets for different tourist traps. During my first week in Dakar, I was approached by someone who came up to me and shook my hand out of nowhere. He walked with me for a short distance and asked me questions about myself, and then offered me a tour of the city. When I said I wasn't interested in a tour of the city, he tried to guilt me by stopping me and asking me in what seemed to be a very serious and hurt tone, "Is it because I'm black?" All of a sudden, I felt a strong urge to appease him and make sure he didn't seriously think I was racist. Eventually, what he wanted from me was money. But I've heard of some traps that could actually be dangerous, so be careful. Generally, we should be on the lookout for these tourist traps in the first few weeks until we feel more secure in our place, especially in countries where it is clear we are not locals. Again, ask other expats about their experience in the first few weeks and if there's anything you should be aware of. Be extra careful in touristic areas. Another important point is the bureaucratic procedures of the host country. Should you schedule an appointment to the doctor, or do they admit people who just walk in? Is there mandatory health insurance? How long will it take to the furniture you just ordered to arrive? Does it arrive to the store or to your home? Is there a church tax? We need to be aware of the things we don't know that we don't know. A great question that has saved me a few times is, what should I ask you that I don't even know I should ask? I recommend you use it whenever you're consulting anyone generally, not only for moving abroad purposes. Let's move on to the next aspect,